While I was sitting with my tea this morning, I realized that one of the greatest signs of growth in a woman isn't that she becomes louder, it's that she becomes quieter. Not because she has nothing to say, but because she's finally become more intentional about where her words belong. You've reached the Garden of Becoming, a place where not only plants grow, but women grow too. And together we're cultivating the best versions of ourselves, one seed at a time. So I invite you to pour yourself a cup of tea, take a few deep breaths, and let's spend a few moments cultivating the woman we're becoming. Welcome to today's episode of Sipping Thoughts. Many of us were taught that if someone misunderstands us, it's our responsibility to make them understand. If someone questions our character, we rush to defend it. If someone believes a rumor, we feel obligated to correct it. If someone doesn't approve of our choices, we begin building a case for why we made them. We become attorneys for our own lives, always presenting evidence, always trying to convince the jury, always hoping to receive a verdict that says, "You're understood." But what if I told you that one of the most freeing things you'll ever learn is that not everyone deserves an explanation? There's a difference between communication and self-justification. Communication builds relationships. Self-justification often comes from fear. Fear of being misunderstood, fear of rejection, fear that someone else's opinion has the power to define who we are. But here's a grounding principle I've been cultivating. The woman who knows herself doesn't spend her life asking strangers to confirm what she already knows. I'll say that again. The woman who knows herself doesn't spend her life asking strangers to confirm what she already knows. Because the older I get, the more I realize that explanations are expensive. Every explanation costs something, whether it be your time, your emotional energy, your peace, your attention. And attention is one of the most valuable resources you'll ever possess. Whatever consistently receives your attention, you begin cultivating. If you're consistently cultivating conflict, you'll become emotionally exhausted. If you're consistently cultivating validation, you'll become emotionally dependent. If you're consistently cultivating peace, you'll become emotionally grounded. And that's why I've become protective of my attention. Not because I'm better than anyone, but because I finally understand what I water grows. When I spend all day defending myself, I'm watering distraction. When I spend all day checking who said what, I'm watering anxiety. When I spend all day proving my worth, I'm watering insecurity. And eventually, those things begin growing in places I never intended. Gardens don't become overrun overnight. It happens because something unwanted was watered long enough to take root. Our inner lives work the same way. This brings me to my next segment. The more private a woman becomes, the more some people become curious. When they no longer know your plans, they create assumptions. When they no longer receive unlimited access, they become uncomfortable. When they can no longer predict your next move, they sometimes begin writing stories you've never told. Let them. Because here's another hard truth. Some people don't actually want an explanation. They want access. Access to your emotions, access to your reactions, access to your attention. And every time you feel compelled to defend yourself to someone who has already decided who you are, you hand them exactly what they were looking for: your peace. One of the greatest forms of emotional discipline is learning to ask yourself, is this conversation helping me cultivate the woman I'm becoming? If the answer is no, walk away. Not because you've lost, but because you've grown. There's strength in restraint. There's wisdom in silence. And there's confidence in allowing your life to speak louder than your explanations. I've never seen a tree stop growing because someone asked whether it would bear fruit. It simply continued growing, quietly, faithfully, season after season. Maybe that's our lesson. Maybe becoming isn't about convincing everyone you've changed. Maybe it's about changing so consistently that eventually your life becomes all the explanation you'll need. So today, instead of asking, who understands me? Ask yourself, what am I cultivating? Because every thought, every habit, every conversation, every reaction is planting something. Choose wisely. Thank you for spending these quiet moments with me. Until next time, keep cultivating, keep becoming. And before you step into your day, I want to ask you, what will you cultivate today?